there is a distinct possibility that this isn't going to make an awful lot of sense, because I have been living on soya milk and no added sugar jelly for 3 days. If I never have soya milk or jelly for the rest of my life, it will be too soon. Not feeling great, not gonna lie to you. It's not been the best week of my life. And I was gonna wait to do the first one of these videos until I felt well, but the whole point is that I want it to be a video diary. I don't know if I'm just doing it for myself at the moment, or if I'm going to decide to share it with interested parties, or if I will be brave enough to put it on something like a wider viewing platform like YouTube at some point. Who knows? Anyway, a friend of mine about 10 years ago said that she thought I ought to do a vlog, and I didn't really give it any thought because I didn't really think I had anything to say that anybody would be interested in. She knew at that point that I'd had agoraphobia for about 20 years, so I think perhaps she thought that, you know, I like talking and I know stuff about having a long-term mental health problem, and maybe that would be interesting or helpful for people, but I didn't feel like I had anything to say at that point. But 10 years later, I've had agoraphobia for 28 years. I still have a pretty cool life because I refuse to let that stop me from having a life. And I'm having weight loss surgery. I'm having a gastric bypass in 5 days time. And I've just applied to do a PhD, and I've got an interview on the 11th of July, less than 2 weeks after my surgery. And yeah, even if it just ends up being, for me, even if it just ends up being about the weight loss surgery, I feel like I wanted to document it in some way, and I know for sure that I won't get around to doing it by writing it. But just making a video for a few minutes, or, you know, longer if I'm feeling particularly self-indulgent, I know I can commit to that. I know I'll do that. So this is the first stage of the weight loss surgery journey. I say the first stage. My GP suggested this to me 4 years ago, maybe 5, and I went away and thought about it and thought it was a bit drastic at that point, and then tried to lose weight myself again a couple of times, failed, went back and said, yep, I've got enough weight related health problems that I think we should probably do this. Got referred to my local, what they're called, weight loss team, whatever they're called. And yeah, 4 years later, just a short 4 years later, here I am, 5 days away from actually having it. And yeah, it's been a strange week. I'm hoping that this is going to be one of the worst bits, because I've still got a normal appetite and a normal sized stomach, but the week before weight loss surgery you have to go on something called the milk diet, or the liver shrinkage diet, which basically involves drinking 2 litres of soya milk per day. Well, this is all terribly professional, isn't it? First video, and I didn't have enough memory to actually make the full video, so well done me. As you can probably tell from the speed I'm talking, but not the way I look much worse today, but actually feeling a lot better. People did say that you will feel worse for the first 3 or 4 days, but I'm over halfway through now and I feel a lot better than I have been doing. So I was in the middle of telling you what the delightful milk diet involves. Depending on what your BMI and your weight is, you either do 2 weeks or 1 week. Thank God I only had to do 1 week. And basically, all you're allowed to have in a day is 2 litres of either soya milk or ordinary milk or lacto-free milk. A pint of no added sugar jelly, randomly. As much water and squash and tea and coffee as you want, but at least another couple of litres, I think. 1 cup of Bovril or Marmite or something like that to get your salts in. I think that's it. Trouble is, my stomach's a little bit of a special snowflake, and since a child I've had all kinds of food intolerances, so this has been particularly challenging for me because I don't do very well with dairy, so I got soya milk in. Turns out I don't think I do very well with soya milk either. So after the first 3.5 days, I'm going to go on to lacto-free because I've tried that before and been alright with it. I'm also fairly intolerant to most additives, and of course the no added sugar squash and the no added sugar jelly and the no added sugar crusher milkshake mix I've been putting in the soya milk to get it down me probably not been doing me any favours. So about lunchtime today, I'm like, sorry to overshare the nasty details, but I'm retching and nothing's coming up. And I'm thinking, yeah, I think it's time to dial back on the additive stuff and change milks. But other people probably don't have these issues because other people might not have had food intolerances since they were children. Anyway. So why am I doing this? I'm doing it because of a lot of health problems that have increased over the years. So I've always had food intolerances since, quite a young age, which me and Mum tried to work out what it was, and increasingly over the years the list has been added to, so it's additives. Sugar makes me anxious, as does caffeine. Wheat really upsets my stomach. Dairy, I'm pretty sure, makes me itch. So yeah, the fact that my diet's going to be quite restricted after the surgery is kind of something I'm kind of used to. I mean, I'm not used to restricting portion size, but I'm definitely used to restricting ingredients to try and not feel ill all the time. So yeah, so I don't think anyone has a good time in this week. I mean, it's just a weird thing to do to yourself to, not have solid food and just drink milk and eat jelly instead. But I'm wondering whether the fact that I'm intolerant to half the ingredients that I'm allowed to eat is probably not helping. But anyway, I do feel better today than I have done, so only 3 or 4 days to go now. I get sidetracked, especially right now when there's not actually any calories or energy to speak of in the brain. This may get more polished over time. I certainly aim to not be looking quite so rough every time I do a video, but at this stage of the game, really. So yeah, the health problems. So there was food intolerances, high blood pressure that I have to take medication for, type 2 diabetes, had womb cancer that I had to have an emergency hysterectomy for, and there's a potential link between female reproductive cancer and obesity. A potential's enough for me once you've had it. Once it's kind of, you'll do anything to make sure you don't have it again. What have I missed? Sleep apnea, and a chronic bad back condition, which basically means that it hurts to do pretty much anything. So this is not a decision I've made lightly. I mean, I've thought about this long and hard, and I'm still a few days away from surgery thinking, am I making the right decision? I mean, I've made an educated decision through lots of reading and research, but, I think, given the enormous list of health problems I've got that are weight related, that this is a no-brainer, but I guess there's only one way to find out. So yeah, I don't think I'll witter on too much more because the two halves of the first two videos have already just gone over 10 minutes, but I'll have a think about what else might be interesting to add next. Bye for now.